Hello, this is Jake from the Corona team, and in the next few minutes you'll be able to use LightMix to adjust the intensity and the colour of your lights in the frame buffer, as well as create, save and load multiple light scenarios from just one render. The scene we'll be using to demonstrate has a Corona sun and sky, a spotlight above the bed, a light in each lamp, and a light in the floor lamp on the end of the bed. The fastest way to set up LightMix is by clicking on Set up LightMix in the Corona toolbar. In this section on the left we can choose the way lights are grouped. So individual lights will put every light on its own layer. So let's hit interactive render and see what we get. Under the LightMix tab in the frame buffer, we can see that each light from the scene is listed here. We can turn lights on and off, we can turn up or down the intensity, and we can even change the colour. We can also use group lights, so hit generate. And if I select one of the lamp lights from the scene and isolate that selection, we can see that we've got all three lamp lights are in a group called the lamp lights group. And now when we start interactive render, you can see that we have one LightMix layer for that group. So now we can control all three of these from just one LightMix layer. And finally we have instance lights, and this will create the layers based on the instance lights. And in our scene, the only lights that are instance are the bedside lamps. So now we have a layer for the bedside lamps and we have a layer for the floor lamp. And it's a good idea to name your lights so we don't end up with a list of light 1, light 2 and so on. We can turn the lights on and off to create different moods, change their intensities, and generally speaking, it's best to keep these values under 5 or you could start introducing some noise. If you do need to make your lights brighter than that, then change the intensity in the light itself. When we update the lights, we can see it's happening in real time, and all of this happens whether you're using interactive or production render. If we're planning on using LightMix, it's best to keep all of our lights in our scene at white and then update the colour in the LightMix. To demonstrate why, let's make the spotlight blue in the light itself. And we can turn the spot up to 5. And if we change the colour to red, we're not going to get the colour we expect. And that's because the LightMix colour acts as a filter or multiplier to the original light colour and not as a replacement. Yet if we have this on white, the light will be red as expected. We can also see we've got 6 buttons here. So toggle all enables or disables all the lights in the LightMix list, and it can be a good idea to start with the environment lighting and then gradually build up our artificial lights. All 1 will revert all the LightMix layers intensity to 1. All white will revert the colours back to white, meaning that we are back to the original colours from the scene lights. Scene will push all the changes we make in our LightMix into our scene. To demo this, let's change the colour of the spotlight to a warm orange, and we'll hit to scene. And we can see that the scene light has changed to our warm orange. Currently our spotlight has an intensity of 500 and its multiplier in the light is 1. If we turn this up to 2, we can see our light gets 2 times as intense. And finally we have the save and load buttons. These allow us to save changes we make to the LightMix and load them up later. So let's make some changes. And then save this as daytime 1. And now let's make a night scenario. And save it. And now we can load up the day or the night setup. So save and load is particularly useful when we want to use multiple light setups with multiple cameras in a scene. So if we jump to another camera, we can use the same light setups here too. We can also use LightMix to add multiple suns and environment maps to our scenes. And the great thing about this is we can render just once and create completely different lighting scenarios. So let's open up our render setup and choose multiple maps. Let's use 3 maps, and I'm going to create a new Corona sun. And then open the material editor, which is M on the keyboard. And I'm just going to plug in our sky. And then I'm going to create another sky for our second sun and plug that in. And I've also got a HDRI here, which I'll plug in too. And then we can hit Generate LightMix and run an interactive render. And if I just jump back to our first camera, we can take a look at our 3 different light setups. And so long as you save the CXR when the render is finished, you can then load it into the Corona image editor and continue to adjust the LightMix at a later date without needing to re-render. As you can see, LightMix is a very powerful tool, meaning we can create many variations of a single render. Thanks for watching, and check out our other videos to continue exploring what Corona can do for you.